It was his mastery which kept India in the game in the third innings of the first test. It's his magic that has given India the ascendancy in the second test. Jasprit Bumrah's second test fifer at home and his 10th overall has given India a sizable lead at stumps on day two of the second test against England in Visakhapatnam. As we welcome Sanjay Manjrekar on ESPNcricinfo Match Day, that has to be the starting point of our chat today. Sanjay, thank you as always for your time. You
Thank you.
said on day one about an all time great fast bowler that watching Jimmy Anderson is a reminder of Test cricket at its peak. Today, you've seen a modern master operate at his best. Your thoughts on what we saw from Jasprit Bumrah on day two?
Well, first, I've got to say that has to be one of the best bowling performances from India in a home test because the pitch didn't offer too much help. Indian wins and Indian bowling performances over the last many years have been on very helpful turning pitches where the spinners have ruled. I didn't expect India to get England out so cheaply and ending up with a huge lead. And it all came down to Jasprit Bumrah. I'm sure we're going to talk more about him, but quickly to encompass the whole bowling performance, Kuldeep Yadav as well. And just what Ollie Pope did in the last match for India with the innings that he played, I guess Bumrah is repaying that compliment now to England by his bowling performance, putting India firmly in a dominant position.
Yeah, magical. A spell that words honestly don't do justice to, but it becomes so much more important given the match situation. Sanjay, Zach Crawley had been attacking him. You, for the first time, saw Bumrah taken to the cleaners, even if it was for one over. And England at 118 for two, you thought India have left some runs in the first innings, and England looking imposing, going fast. For India to then, for Bumrah to go through numbers 3, 4, 5, 6, it just a priceless spell in that regard.
Yes, and that's why you've got to say, he's done exactly what Ollie Pope did for England. That impact that he made in the first Test match that put England slightly in front of India. And after this, it's going to be all psychological. And how India succumbed to the pressure in the second innings is likely to happen for England now when they come in to bat in the final innings. And when they're bowling as well, the Indian batters will be batting differently because they now know that they are in the lead. But yes, Bumrah, I mean, it's incredible what he's achieving in Test cricket. We've seen his, golden spells away from India, but this has to be, and you saw his expression as well. When he finished that whole inning, he was just a happy man because this is something that people used to talk about. That Bumrah hasn't bowled as much on Indian pitches, doesn't have the kind of record that Shami has, with 5-wicket hauls and stuff. But this was just a brilliant performance against a good batting side to get somebody like a Joe Root out and Ollie Pope out with the way he did. Bairstow as well, defensive shots, getting out on a pitch like that was just a brilliant spell. Crawley was lucky that he got Bumrah in the first 20 overs. Once that ball was slightly old, there's some reverse swing and, orthodox swing as well when the ball gets about 25-30 over zone. And Crawley was lucky that he could cash in before Bumrah, came into zone.
Yeah, and that ball he bowled to Ollie Pope is already making waves around the world. A ball of the year contender, a ball of the decade contender, you might say. And that's the
You can
ball
say
that.
ball of the century as well. No one can stop us, right?
There, we have the headline, and Sanjay Manjrekar is zooming in on that ball. So be sure to catch Sanjay breaking down that Yorker, a corker of a Yorker, on Zoomed In on ESPNcricinfo. Bumrah had able support in Kuldeep Yadav. Kuldeep playing in what's his first test at home in 3 years, Sanjay, dismissed Duckett right at the start and clearly stood tall on a day when India's spinners were leaking runs. What made him as effective as he was?
Well, just being Kuldeep Yadav. It's interesting when you look at Kuldeep Yadav's international career and you really look at it threadbare, you'll wonder why he doesn't play every match for India, whether it's T20 cricket or 50 overs cricket or Test cricket. And I was very, very keen to see Kuldeep Yadav, the new version, the slightly quicker Kuldeep Yadav play in a Test match because that big change that he's made to his bowling at the other international level formats. I wanted to see how he was going to go on this kind of a pitch. And I was delighted to see that he was still bowling about 80 and 90. There were odd balls in 90 kilometers per hour, but there was some ball that he was bowling at 70 kilometers per hour. The old Kuldeep Yadav, who was slower, but he would bowl more magic deliveries with that slow-paced, balls. And this pitch, it's not a rank turner, and these are the kind of pitches that Kuldeep Yadav will actually, and expectedly, something we talked about as well, that on a pitch which is not a rank turner, Kuldeep Yadav is the spinner to go to, maybe ahead of one of the three finger spinners.
Does it also help his case that being the wrist spinner, not as easy for England's attacking batters to go after him without that real threat of losing their wicket?
And that is something we mentioned too. Quick bowlers, finger spinners who are accurate spinners, which really is something that you want on the kind of pitches that you generally have in India. But then England found a brilliant way to counter that and unsettle the Indian spinners like no other team had done in the recent part. And you saw recent past, as you saw with Ashwin and Jadeja in the last, to an extent Akshar as well. Kuldeep Yadav was never going to be that easy. Plus, interesting pitch where you saw sometimes the kind of bounce that it got to fast bowlers, and Kuldeep Yadav's delivery to Ben Duckett as well. If you see, there's a lot of side spin, but the extra bounce is what got Ben Duckett. So all the more, a pitch that Kuldeep Yadav would love to bowl on. So I've not seen an Indian pitch in a while where the ball has actually bounced that much from the good area.
Makes his spell all the more impressive that this is only the third time that R. Ashwin has bowled more than 10 overs in an innings at home and gone wicketless. And yet, thanks to the efforts of Kuldeep and Bumrah, India managed to get that 143-run lead in the first innings. Just on the pitch and the match situation, Sanjay, India have got the lead. This is a day where we've seen the pitch, while it's not turning, it's nowhere close to a rank turner. There were a few balls that bounced. There was variable bounce on offer. Ben Stokes seemed quite aghast at the one that he got bowled by of Bumrah. Your reading of the pitch and what you think is the kind of score India need to put the game beyond England, at least on paper?
I don't think we should get too carried away with the reaction of Ben Stokes with that particular delivery. There could have been another reason that I was wondering why he reacted in that fashion, because just at the start of the over, he was a bit infuriated by somebody in front of the side screen. So it may have contributed to him having that kind of a reaction. I don't think we can be sure that this pitch is going to be very difficult and the uneven bounce will come into play. Just the fact that, that India have got their nose in front. You saw Rohit Sharma as well in that little session. The way he batted, there was an air of confidence. This is the Rohit Sharma that we like to see. There was defense, but it was purposeful in the way he played. So India will bat differently, knowing that they are in a dominant position. And then whatever the pitch, even if it's not as bad as India would ideally like bowling in that final innings, the pressure will get to the English batters. So Bumrah has done brilliant service to Indian cricket by bowling that spell and getting India into, I'm not going to say winning position, but in a position from where England will find it very difficult to win, because now it's all going to be about temperament. India lost in the last test match, the final innings, because they felt the pressure. This is likely to happen with England. It's amazing how many similarities are there from either side in the last two tests.
All the heavy lifting, or most of the heavy lifting of that England batting effort, came right at the top. Zach Crawley with 76 of 78 balls. At the point he got out, England were 114 for 1 in the 23rd over. It was a dominant knock from Crawley and stood out from the outside in the way he asserted himself, especially on Bumrah and Ashwin, India's leading bowlers.
Yes, and again, you saw an English batter play normally. You didn't see too many reverse sweeps or the reverse side sweep. I still haven't found. You got to help me, guys, with the term for that one. Shot that Ollie Pope plays, which is not a switch hit, but where he switches his batting position. So it was just a reflection of a player with the right kind of attitude. He's a tall man, and it's just like the way he gets to the pitch of the ball. And when you start thinking shots and start thinking boundaries, it's amazing how many good balls you can convert into boundary hitting balls. So that is what he did. Thankfully for India, he got out a bit early, but he would have found things pretty tough as the ball got a little older. So he batted at the right time and made the most of that little advantage that the openers and 1, 2, 3 batters had in the first 20, 25 overs.
A word on India in the field. You look at that first innings, and there were a few chances missed. Most notably, KS Bharat missing a stumping, which could have had Ollie Pope gone first ball. Shubman Gill dropped a tough catch, but he finishes with four catches.
See, the first time I saw Shubman Gill in the slips, uh, I got very excited. He is just a gifted slip fielder, slip catcher, and we've seen that in sometimes the white ball format. Just how he seems ready and makes things very easy. So you can have all the quality bowling, seam bowling in the world, like the Shami and Bumrah and Siraj, but Indian slip catching over the years has greatly improved, and it's a delight actually to see that the young lot, whether you talk about Shreyas Iyer with that catch, you see in Yashasvi Jaiswal in South Africa take some comfortable slip catches in the sense he made those catches look pretty easy. He was very comfortable taking those. And Shubman Gill by far is the best of the lot. So when you're a pure batter and you have gifted hands like that, it's certainly a big, big plus. We know of one cricketer, former India captain Mohammad Azharuddin, who got one extra test match when he was failing really badly with the bat because he was brilliant in the field. He took some great catches, played one more test match, and then found his form back. So very happy for Shubman Gill, very happy for Indian cricket that we've got these young players with such good hands.
I wonder if that's a history lesson that's foreshadowing the future. Shubman Gill in a very similar situation. He will hope the confidence from the field extends when he comes out to bat.
Yeah,
We leave it at that for day two. Thank you for your time, Sanjay. India are 28 for
thank
no
you.
loss at stumps. They lead by 171 runs. And Yashasvi Jaiswal, shout out to him. He started this day having got to that 200, with which he made a raft of records his own. Be sure to catch that in the stats piece by Sampath Bandrapalli on ESPN Cricinfo. That'll be all from us on day two of the Vizag Test.